Again, a quick disclaimer. This call is being recorded and we are going to place our recording in our YouTube channel. If you don't want to be recorded, you may want to drop off now and let me start the, sorry, that's what happened when you, last minute you're trying to make changes. So there we go. Let's start the show on the road. So we are going to be talking about Azure Media Services. And let me turn off this closed captioning. Um, Thank you for joining and happy Friday. I hope everybody is doing good. And as I said, our topic of today is Azure Media Services. So I think we have talked about it before, yeah, year and a half. There are significant enhancements. And today, the and if you go online and take a look at this service, you will see V2 and V3. We are talking today about V3. And I want to especially talk about a few features, just like we always do with every session. We are going to do a quick uh, level set. Then we are going to look at some specific feature, do a quick demo, and hopefully have time for a quick Q&A. So first of all, um, when we talk about media on Azure, or kind of building your media related applications on Azure, just keep in mind that Azure Media Services is one of the, though it's a key component, is one of the component. As you can see from this pipeline, and you don't have to be a media expert, just think about it. If you are um, dealing with media, like let's say you want to have a video, you first, um, it can be either live streamed or it can be video on demand. If it's a video on demand, you have to ingest the content. You can push content to Azure either through network, or if it's offline, then you can use Azure Data Box Edge and or Data Box to push that data into Azure Data Center. Moving forward, now you want to edit, you want to kind of change the video or updates to it. Um, that's where you can use the compute VMs, compute intensive VMs, things like that. So this whole pipeline, as you can see, and then you have kind of things like uh, for example, transcoding. That's where media services comes into picture. You want to get analysis or intelligence from the video. Like who was there? Like long time ago, we worked with a customer who wanted to obscure certain faces in the audience as they were. Was their requirement. They wanted to know. Uh, they don't want to show certain faces in the audience who didn't have consent or something like that. So that's something that you can take advantage of by using kind of a video indexer and things like that. And then of course, advanced analytics and ML, that once the video is processed, you get data that you want to analyze, what was the reaction, things like that. So all of this supply chain, just keep in mind, all of this, the entire platform, this Azure, uh, you're taking advantage of the entire platform. So yes, media service is a key component, but whenever you're building media application, that's where this thing, the entire platform comes into picture. Okay. Okay. So now let's talk about some of the key features. First of all, it allows you to do both video on demand and live streaming. That's the key thing. And in regards to content protection, it has you have Microsoft Play Ready DRM, which is digital rights management. So let's say if you are building a service, something like where you want to show copyright uh, videos, like something like Netflix or Amazon Prime, that's where this thing comes into picture. So people can watch the video, but they are uh, kind of you have the full key encryption and all that. And one of the key feature in terms of packaging, it does adaptive streaming. So it has the capability of doing adaptive streaming. So as different devices connects to your streaming endpoint, it can stream the send the appropriate stream um, to that particular device. So this is, and in terms of the player client, you can use whatever player you are comfortable with. At the same time, it has Azure Media Player SDK that you can use and create your own player. And we will take a look at it in a second, like how that media player looks like. And this is, I just want to show like how you ingest data from on-prem into the cloud. You have both online and offline option, of course. If you have the network connectivity, you can push that data in, or if you have offline, then you can use disk or data box, all of these things to push data into the cloud. Okay. And let's talk about some of the key scenarios here. So for example, I'm referring to this on-demand encoding, where you have basically a multi-bitrate MP4 asset, and you have different devices with different capabilities. You have Apple, you have Android, you may have a Windows machine, you have different browsers, and it can do this multi-bitrate encoding where it can address the address the needs of different devices. Okay. For example, some devices may only download, some devices may be what they call it smooth streaming, whereas the bandwidth improves, or they can adjust the resolution, things like that. So all of these things can, it supports through this multi-bit rate. Uh, and then you have Go ahead, please. Any questions? Okay. Um, and then we go through live streaming. So there are two aspects to the live streaming. One, that you have a multi-bitrate MP4 with you, and you just want to stream. Multi-bit 4, and you're using Azure just to pass through. Okay, you're not just taking the output. You're already producing multi-bitrate MP4, and you are just streaming it to the end consumer. Okay, um, that basically is called pass through, or you can live encode that single bit rate to address the demands of the end customer who may be using a different protocol, okay, like smooth streaming or HLS and things like that. So all of that is supported as well. And this goes without saying, dynamic encryption, that's where you have your endpoints, and it supports full digital rights management where the client comes back to the service to get the appropriate key so they can basically display the content to the end consumer. Any questions so far?
David, there's a question on the chat. Uh,
Please.
can we leverage Azure Front Door for a faster live stream content
Yeah,
ingestion?
excellent. Okay, so here's the thing. Front door is basically HTTP. Um, CDN would be the service that you will be using. And we will take a look at it. So CDN, I think there was a diagram. Sorry guys, let me just quickly go back here. Um, this is the one I was referring to. So this is live and on-demand delivery. If you look at the second last item, transcode, package, encrypt, stream, CDN. So CDN is a key piece of this solution.
Nabil,
So
is that for ingestion? Like, does it affect the
no, this
CDN?
is basically so for ingestion. If you
Yep.
wanna, uh, uh, so for ingestion, for uploading the content, I mean, you can use direct network or Azure Data Edge, I don't think you can use um, front door. Unless, okay, let me take it back. If you're just uploading data to Azure storage, definitely you can use front door because you can use HTTPS to upload that data. So depending on that, yes, you can take advantage of front door. But to be honest, front door is useful when you are accessing kind of a more of a HTTP based application. Here, since you're uploading content, yeah, uh, in the end, it has to go to um, your directly to your storage account. So I'm not sure it's gonna help much.
So this was my fault. I didn't read the question all the way till the end. It was about ingestion from the beginning. So yeah,
Okay,
when
no
Naveed
worries.
answered about CDN, it's because I didn't read the question all the way till the end. Please provide any follow up on that question if you didn't get the answer.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. No, thank you, Alec. Really appreciate it, man. Um, and finally, the video indexer. This is getting intelligence from the media content. For example, uh, content moderation. So if somebody is or deep search, monetization, closed captioning, it can do live captioning. It can find out, the individual uh, uh, faces in the video and things like that. So all of that is available as a part. And these are the common scenarios that are addressed by this, of course, video on demand, live streaming, media indexing, and enterprise. And just keep in mind that it is when we talk about media services, it is not a content management solution, but it provides component on which you can build your content management solution. You can work with our partners, and they have solutions which are based on if you don't want to build yourself, so things like that. So of course, so that's the key thing to note here. You know, let's quickly go to the demo piece. Um, so first of all, just a quick heads up. Let's go into open a new window here. Okay. So first of all, let's create a resource. And when we do media services, um, and when you do a create, it creates a V3 resource. Okay. And just keep in mind, uh, it's pretty boilerplate vanilla creation, just like if you create any services, a subscription, um, service account name, storage account. And this storage account is really important because it's the storage account where all your content will be stored. And the key concept in media services that our terminology you should remember is assets and jobs, or assets and transform slash jobs. So asset is a video asset, audio asset, things that you have trying to process and code, stream, things like that. Transform slash job is what you want to do with it. And we will take a look at it in a second. So this is, I just want to show you, this is the creation experience you provide, pretty standard. You pick a resource group, you provide this information, and then you provide information about the managed identity. And that's the identity with which you will connect, which will media services will connect to your storage account that it has created. And it's highly recommended that you use that because that's the most secure way to connect instead of using SaaS signature or things like that, which it used in the past. Okay. And by the way, this is the method. If you, let's say you decided to make your account go over private link or put firewall, that's the method you should be using to access that type of storage account. Okay. So let's say we provide all that information, and that's how the media services will look like. This is my media services um, component. So let me just close this. Okay, that's how media services look. Pretty standard stuff, activity log, events. I want to spend a few minutes here. First of all, identity. When you create media services, for some reason, it uses a user managed identity uh, that that is attached to this media services account, and that's how it access the storage account. But you can later on go in and use system assigned identity to access that storage account. So just some operational details, but you can definitely do that. Second part, this is the storage account. I mean, you are using um, manage identity. Just keep in mind, if you use the classic authentication model that it has used, that method cannot be used when you are using a firewall. Okay, so let's just keep that in mind. And that's where, and by the way, that's where you can go in and you can say, use this managed identity or use system assigned identity. Okay, and folks, just keep in mind, this managed identity is a concept. It's kind of a lightweight service principal that are assigned either directly part of the resource created as a uh, as the resource is created, or they are assigned to the resource. So these are user managed or system managed identity. So that's the storage account side. We are connecting to it through system managed identity. I just want to show you something here. Um, so if we go in, sorry, if we go in here, go to the media services, I would just want to go to the resource group, want to show you, this is the storage account. This is the storage account that is created when you create kind of the twin storage account. And if we go into the storage account and access control, you will see a role assignment, which is storage blob contributor. And this is the user managed identity of the media service. So just think about, so that's how it's accessing a very clean way of accessing storage account. Nothing hidden, everything is now in the open. Okay. In regards to encryption, in this one, I'm using Microsoft managed keys, but you can use customer managed keys. You will pick what identity you're going to be using. It will ask you what key vault it wants to get. And just keep in mind, you will have to give that managed identity access to that key vault. That's how it will use that. It can be the user managed or system managed. It will use that to access that data from that particular key vault. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay, so now, and then finally, networking. Um, I have enabled public access, but if you want to access your streams only on private access, then you can create private endpoint connection. Okay, but just keep in mind the public access will still be available. You have to turn off explicitly if you only. So let's say that you have created a media services uh, account and you only want to store video that you will use inside your organization, all the content. In that case, you can create private endpoint connections, and that's how you access that content, drop it in your VNet, and that's how you access that content within your organization. Of course, that VNet has to be connected on-prem through private link or through VPN or preferably express route. But long story short, uh, you will have to create a private endpoint and you will have to disable that public access. You have to go private access and then you will be able to access, block all public access, and you use only through private endpoints. Okay. In regards to key delivery, like who can request the keys, you can access all IP address, or if you know who are your customers, let's say there's a certain company that need to access that content and they have a certain IP range, you can kind of set up a firewall and do it that way. So both options are available with this version of media services. Okay. In regards to API access, so if you are writing your own application, just keep in mind Azure Media Services has SDK, .NET, Java, and other languages, and at the same time, you have APIs at your disposal as well, and you can use them. So that's totally fine if you want to use those API. But to access that, you will have to provide access. You have to create an app, and then it will create all of these things, a client ID, secret, tenant domain, and all that, and you will use that information with your code to authenticate to Azure Media Services to use its capabilities. Okay. Quickly, other thing, assets. These are items that are stored in Azure Media Services, videos, audios. This is your content. Okay. So these are your assets. And it can be content before. I mean, you can upload your content here directly, or it can be maybe uploaded uh, as you're processing the content with Azure Media Services. Okay. And in regards to transforms and jobs, they are just, think of it, they are just there to do something to the media. For example, look at the transform. You can give it any name and description, and the type is, oh, you want to encode it. You want to analyze the data or audio, or video or audio, sorry. Or you want to transcribe the audio. So let's say this is a audio file and you want to transcribe it. You want to kind of see what is text in there and then analyze that text. Or you want to do face detection. Okay. You can, all of that, you can do it through these transforms. And then, just say okay. And then you have jobs. And um, these jobs are basically combine transforms and asset. So what that means is you take a particular asset, let's say have your video, you take the transform that you have created. You may have an existing transform, or you want to create a new transform. When we looked at it, maybe you want to detect some faces and you have created a transform and all that, and then you run it. Okay. And in prior, if you remember, you have to assign throughput units or things like that, media processing or compute units. Okay, because if you're running parallel jobs, it will run one job at a time. Not anymore. Now it's all on demand. There is no reserve capacity or anything. If you have multiple jobs, you just pay for the length of the job. Okay, in terms of cost. I know there's a lot of information. Any questions?
Naveed, any DRM integration options available in V3?
What do you mean by DRM integration? Yes, DRM is available. So that's
Digital
this
rights
is the
management, I meant.
yeah, yeah, no, I
Uh,
understand that. I'm saying that capability is available as a part of. So you can have your content key policy and all that. You can set it up
Thank you.
through
Yeah.
Microsoft Playwriting. Yes, so that's definitely available as a part. So yeah, I mean that's one of the key feature that Azure Media Services provides. Okay. Just want to show you one more thing about streaming endpoints. Look here, CDN is enabled. So streaming endpoints is how you access that media. You can add more streaming endpoints. Each streaming endpoint has a maximum limit. So if let's say you are kind of a doing a video which you know it's going to be accessed by lots and lots of people, then you may want to add more streaming endpoint. For example, this is a default streaming endpoint. It tells you how many concurrent user can have, assumed average media bandwidth, so that's how it tells you. You can stop it. If you want to scale it, you can scale it. You can say, oh, I want to scale it to standard or premium, things like that. So all of that is available as a part of this platform for to help you with your kind of media needs. Um, so in regards to the media player, let me show you here. Let me open the Azure Media Player. Okay, so yeah, so let me just bring that screen here. So I know we are right on time. Sorry, I took a few minutes in the beginning just to fix the slides. So this is the Azure Media Player. This is kind of a UI built on around it. You know, you should not be using this directly. You should be using the SDK to create your own. As you can see, it shows you different things like what are the documentation sample, and that's here. If you have a kind of a media service stream, you can put it here and it will start streaming from that endpoint and things like that. So that's that. I want to show you just one last thing. Just bear with me. So I have run, as you can see here, I have run an analysis job. So uh, I have this job, video analyzer transform. So I have created this job and I have analyzed a video. And this video was kind of the opening scene from our conference. And that video has like people sitting in the audience. And uh, this is the output from that video. I mean, from that particular job. Let me just drag that here. Hopefully everybody can see it. So as you can see, once the video is played, it is capturing those faces in the audience and showing it here. So that's kind of power that video analyzer, one of the component of Azure Media Services, can provide. So any questions, folks?
Good on the chart, Naveed.
Nothing on the chat?
Nothing on the chart
Okay,
so
that's
far.
good. Good. Okay, so folks, I mean, I hope everybody gets a fresh look at Azure Media Services V3. Specifically, we are talking about Azure Media. We talked about Azure Media Service V3, some of the capabilities, what it can do, and to meet your media services needs. Please reach out if you have any questions, and hope everybody have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, and hope to see everybody next week.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.